Okay, we took the S10 apart last night because we had those water injection nozzles go through the engine. As you see, we got the head off, and we also pulled the trans because we broke the intermediate shaft in it. So we got the spare trans ready to go back in, and we saw number 1 and number 6 piston have some extra character now from injector or water injection nozzles being embedded in them. Number 1 piston's gonna be fine. Number 6, we ended up dropping the pan and pulling the piston out of it. Cody's working on getting it cleaned up now. I think we'll be able to reuse the piston, but it does have, we pretty much just knocked off all the sharp edges, try to avoid hot spots. And I guess you can let Cody show you the piston. He'll show you what all he did to it, and we're getting ready to shove it back in the truck and keep on racing.
So as Levon said, we had a little bit of an issue in Florida, but I know, so we basically, everything looked fine, cylinder walls looked good and everything. So basically we just cleaned the piston up, tried to get all the hot spots, or get all the burrs off of it that we had, because it obviously hurt the top of the piston a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but we're gonna throw it back in, put the pan back on, and heads need to send out, and then we'll get it all back together and be running here in a little bit.
All right, so this is why we replace stock flex plates. So this customer had an issue where he broke his flex plate, took it to a guy, had it fixed. So a half a day later, he had the same issue where after this guy had installed his stock flex plate back into the truck, he had broken it. And it had worn enough of a groove on the backside here on the adapter plate that it had actually started to put a little spider web crack into the adapter plate. So we didn't only have to upgrade his flex plate, we also ended up changing his adapter plate. Just a little lesson as to why we like to get rid of these things on anything that's high horsepower, and just go with a billet or a stronger flex plate.
We got Christopher Gray's truck on the dyno. It's a 2012 G56 truck. Pretty mild setup. It's got DDP 40% injectors, industrial injection, dual fuelers. I believe it's a BD 467.7. Has a BD intercooler and intake horn. It has EFI on it now. I'm not sure who did it. He brought it to us because it surges really bad, and he wants us to get rid of the rail surge. So we'll put it on the dyno, or we'll make a couple of runs, data log the surging, reflash it, and see if we can't get the surge out of it. So we did first pull. As you can see on the dyno graph, has waves all up and down from the surge. Did 617 horsepower and 1163 foot-pounds of torque. We'll see if we can't improve on that a little bit more. Looking at the data log, obviously you see rail pressure jumping up and down like crazy, which is causing the surge. That's what you feel driving the truck. So we're gonna see if we can't get rid of that. So we got Chris Gray's truck wrapped up. Ended up finding the surging issue a lot more than just a normal surge. Went through a few diagnosing issues or processes. He had too much lift pump pressure, so we backed that down, and we ended up swapping out his FCAs for stock 5.9 FCAs instead of the modded ones that were on it. It helped calm the surge a lot more. We did 721 horsepower on tune 5 and 544 horsepower on tune 1. Should be a fun little street truck. But as far as the surging issue, we got that figured out, and we'll give him a call and get him on the road.
Our next project is for the guys over at Unlimited Diesel Performance. We've let them bring their Ford and contaminate our shop, but no, really, it should be a pretty cool little project. It's an old step-side Lightning. They had a 7.3 Power Stroke in it, and they're updating it with a 6.7 liter Power Stroke. One of the biggest parts of the project is going to be converting it from a 2-wheel drive to a 4-wheel drive, trying to get the straight axle fit up underneath the engine and still not lifting the truck up too much. Is going to be an interesting challenge. So front half probably going to get pretty much, the frame's going to get cut off and going to have to put in some kind of a 4-link to support the new axle. And then it's also going to get back halved with a 4-link and an 850 cage. So it'll probably be it'll be a pretty big undertaking. We're going to try to get a good start on it this week, and then we'll probably have to work on it for a while after that as well, and just kind of work it in with our other work.
So we got John Meyer's truck. It's a 2011 68 truck, stock motor, stock injector, stock CP3. We added a turbo kit. It's an over-under setup. It's a 475 over a 363. We also added a fleece coolant bypass and AirDog 165. We're gonna throw some tunes on it and see what kind of power we can make with it. Alright, so we are done with John's truck. We made 585 horsepower on tune 5, and tune 1 was 441 horsepower, and the rest of the tunes are spaced out evenly. Pretty much he wanted to see what kind of power he could make out of a stock injector truck with compound, so we got that done for him, and we'll send him on the way.